Simplicity is easy to build, easy to use, and hard to charge for. Complexity is easy to build, hard to use, and easy to charge for. Chris Sacca. My friends, we keep it simple here, and we don't charge you anything. And it's taken us a while to build this out, to learn by doing for 10 plus years, just doing this show. In addition to all the training, experimenting, trading, practice trading, mistakes, victories, losses, wins, all the things that I went through in the interim and up to date. And I found over and over again, keep it simple, stupid. Let's jump into these charts. This is a day where everything is up. I talked about that yesterday, and everything is up, but it's not up a lot when it comes to stocks. The S&P up 0.07%, which is about flat. And you can see here on the half-day chart, a lot of ranging in the morning, down in the afternoon, a red spinning top, average volume in the morning, a little lower in the afternoon, above average volume this week. And as we look at the weekly, we just got two dojis here, don't we? Right on the trend line, if you can call it much of a trend line. It's pretty horizontal. Those of you who pay attention to the numbers when we run them each and every day, and our Patreon members get them fresh for the following day, as you look, you will see how they have been oscillating. It's not been accurate or helpful, those numbers, because things are tight. They have switched over to down, and they are telling us down. But again, where are we? Well, we're in the land of infinite possibilities. Lots of questions here, lots of indecision. With all that volume and those dojis, it's telling us the market is having a hard time deciding which way it's going to go. Where do I think it's leaning? Well, I think, but what does what I think matter? Matters what the charts tell us. And they're not telling us on the S&P a whole lot yet. They're showing us they're ranging down, back down to where they had been a couple of times, but haven't crossed over. So we're holding tight on the S&P. Now let's go to the NASDAQ. It was up 0.21%. Again, not much, but again, logging in a down week. Now we've seen this before and it fooled us, potentially. We're seeing it again. We had a spinning top after an interim high, average or above average volume, another week. This was with a red down candle going in the right direction. We didn't get to the low of the prior week, which would have been nice to hit that or lower. And we are sitting right there on our first potential floor. We've pushed through it on the half day. You can see us just sitting on it on the 2-day, and on the weekly, we've got another one to potentially go through. Now, we do have a down trend line. We are below it on the 2-day and the half day and the weekly. If you entered this trade with again, a small portion to size in, if it continues to move in the right direction, wouldn't fault you at all. If your X trade is, say, $100,000, and you decided, I'm going, this, and for those who don't understand that terminology, for us, the X trade in a paper trade or in a real trade is your standard trading amount. You can adjust that based upon things like, not super strong, but it's leading me very much to believe maybe you're sizing in with half that. And again, if the week starts off well and things start looking good, you could size in the rest of the half. If things go against you and start to move up, think about it. If you're in $100,000 and you get a 2% move against you, you've lost a couple of $1,000. If you are in for $50,000 and it goes against you 2%, you've lost $1,000. However, if the market starts crashing and you can jump in, add to your position and keep adding to it, of course, those are things to do what? Practice. Practice by doing it in your practice trades. Again, things for you to think about. I would not fault you for jumping in. We shall see as we move ahead. Conditions perfect, exactly what we want. No, what would I have rather seen? Have the volume. I'd love to have seen the wick on this week's candle to be lower than the prior wick. Let's see. The low last week was 594.76. Oh, yes. It's not. It's not. I was thinking I'd seen it wrong. That's why I always look at the numbers. I'd looked at them before, thought I misremembered. I had not. It did not get as low. So again, I would like for that to be lower, which make me feel better, but wouldn't keep me from jumping in. Now let's look at where we are on 20-year U.S. government bonds. Although we don't have a trend line, I very much like what we see happening. We have blown through our potential ceiling on both the 2-day and the half-day, and you can see the wick is blown through it on the weekly. Nice volume. We have a couple of interim lows here with red candles. And again, average volume going all the way back. You have to go back to the 29th of last year to get below average volume. So things have been tracking along, and we've again seen things with bonds appearing to move up. Now, hopefully we'll be able to draw a trend line this next week. If any of you pulled the trigger into a bond trade, you've got some guts there. We'll see how that continues to go. Would love to see it continue to move along and then start the week off with another green higher and continue to build on that. And again, I think we're going to put another band in here too as to that prior high in bonds. Let's go ahead and put that in. We will put in a horizontal line, and we'll put it in right here at that prior high. Just so we have that to be able to use. If we blow that out too, that'll give us even more of a ceiling that we've known we've blown through. That's where we are on bonds. What about gold? I have published today in the notes, for today's video, and in the notes, the notes on that you'll find at chartingwealth.com. You will see the link to the training video on my gold point paper, precious metals. I published it a couple of weekends, 3 weekends ago maybe. I'm sending it out just to everyone so that everyone can watch it. Please take some time, review it over the weekends. It'll give you my thoughts on the bull market that's still left in gold. Gold booming up today, 2.49%. You can see how it continues to track along the trend line on the half-day and the 2-day chart and the weekly. It's got a ways to go till it gets to that high again, which it, of course, blew off on Friday the 30th of January and Monday the 2nd of February. But it's continuing to slowly but surely move along. So keep an eye on gold. That bull market may still be there. Didn't quite get average volume this week. Very low volume on the 2-day charts. We haven't hit average volume in the last, going all the way back to the next to last half day of the big drop. That would be Monday morning, the 2nd of February. Since then, we haven't had average volume but once, when the average volume actually ran into that trend line going down, the volume metric on the morning of Thursday the 12th. So again, gold lost some of its steam, but still some bullishness there. We see Bitcoin ticking up for the day, 5.19%. Now, anything else you'd say, oh man, that's insane. Not for Bitcoin. Bitcoin, of course, had its most recent low back on the afternoon of February the 5th. That was a Thursday. Since then, been tinkering on up, down, up. We are maybe making a base here on the 2-day. We'll just have to continue to watch, wait and see. We hoped we had on Bitcoin back starting somewhere around the 17th of November up through, I'd say the mid-January, and then things fell off the deep end. We're still bullish. I'm still bearish, quite bearish on Bitcoin, but we're always watching for something to catch fire. That's where we are, folks, as we end the week. It's getting exciting. Maybe this market's rolling over and you're going to see some hammers down and things change and shake up a lot. That would be very interesting. Thanks so much for being with us. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth.